There's something millionaires are practically begging you to understand, but it's not what most people think. It's not about Lamborghinis or penthouse views. It's not even about early retirement or passive income. It's something quieter, more subtle, and once you truly grasp it, you'll never see money the same way again. As money begins to add up, everything in your life starts changing, and much sooner than you'd think. At the beginning, money feels like a grind. Every dollar is hard earned, every bill another stressor. Saving anything meaningful seems impossible when it feels like you're constantly trying to keep your head above water. But eventually, slowly, then suddenly, you reach a point where things don't just improve incrementally, they begin to improve exponentially. That's when you realize something most people never discover. The mental stress that comes with being broke doesn't need to be solved with millions. It starts to lift almost immediately, sometimes with just a few $100s in your account. You don't need to be rich to feel relief. You just need enough of a cushion to know that not every little bump in the road is going to send your life into a tailspin. People imagine they'll only feel financially secure once they've hit 7 figures or reached an aggressive retirement goal. But the truth is, real peace of mind starts way earlier than that. Even $1,000 in your savings account can change things. It's enough to cover a flat tire, miss a shift at work, or grab a few unexpected groceries without needing to swipe a card or borrow money. That might not sound like much, but the emotional shift is massive. Take this example. You're driving home from work and your check engine light comes on. If your account is sitting at $43 and rent is due in 5 days, that little orange light can send you into a full-blown spiral. You start thinking through the worst-case scenarios. What if it's the transmission? What if I can't afford it? What if I lose my job because I can't get to work? Suddenly, one small car issue becomes a cascade of panic and mental fatigue. You're not just dealing with a mechanical problem, you're dealing with a complete loss of control. But imagine that same situation with $5,000 sitting in your emergency fund. The light comes on, and instead of panicking, you make a mental note to get it checked out tomorrow. If it's serious, you'll fix it. If it's minor, great. Either way, it's not a crisis. You're calm, you're in control, and your mental bandwidth is still fully available for everything else in your life. That's the kind of mental margin that money buys. It doesn't take millions. Every dollar you add to your cushion buys back a little more peace, a little more patience, and a little more power to face your life without fear. And what's really encouraging is how quickly that feeling grows. At $1,000 saved, you breathe a little easier. At $5,000, you stop flinching at every unexpected bill. At $10,000, you walk around with a quiet confidence. The fear that once ran in the background like static noise fades into silence. And the best part, that mental shift compounds. You make better choices because you're not desperate. You handle problems before they escalate. You can be more generous, more strategic, and more open to opportunity. Financial breathing room isn't just about the numbers. It changes the way you move through the world. When you're broke, life is all about chasing. You chase jobs, clients, side gigs, overtime, promotions, and recognition at work. Anything to keep the money coming in. It's a constant scramble driven by urgency and survival. But once you hit a level of financial stability, something shifts. You stop chasing and start choosing. You choose which clients to work with, instead of taking on every headache just to stay afloat. You choose the job that fits your values, not just the one that pays the bills. You're no longer trapped under the weight of a bad boss or a toxic workplace. You can walk away, not out of rebellion, but out of confidence. And oddly enough, when you know you can walk away, you become more tolerant. That rude customer or micromanaging boss doesn't get under your skin the same way because you know you're not stuck. It's like after you've given your 2 weeks notice at a job, the little things no longer bother you. You're not absorbing it out of desperation, you're choosing how to respond. That internal power of having options creates emotional distance. It gives you patience because you're in control. And that shift trickles into the smallest parts of life. You go out to dinner and enjoy the moment instead of calculating the total bill in your head. You don't need to order the most expensive item on the menu, but you could, and that freedom makes the meal taste better. The question changes from, can I afford this, to, do I even want this? You might still drive a modest car, not because you have to, but because you like the feeling of zero payments and not having to worry about where you park out of fear of every small scratch or ding. You might pass on the luxury resort vacation, not because it's out of reach, but because you've realized peace and contentment aren't tied to 5-star hotels. Having the freedom to choose whether or not you want to spend money on something expensive is more powerful than actually spending it. It's like when you don't have money, you're dying to eat at the most expensive restaurant in town because you know you can't afford it. Then once you have more than enough money, you don't even want to go there. You'd rather just eat at the local diner instead. Having the choice is the powerful part. People without money don't realize this, but people with financial security know this to be true. Most people spend their entire lives trading time for money. Hour after hour, week after week, they stay locked in a cycle where the only way out seems to be a bigger paycheck or a lucky break. But those who build real, lasting wealth understand that the secret isn't working harder, it's giving your money enough time to work for you. Let's say you've saved and invested $100,000. It probably took years of discipline, budgeting, and sacrifices. But that money, just sitting in a regular S&P 500 portfolio, is now generating around $10,000 per year without any extra input. In the next year, it grows even more. You're not just earning returns, you're earning returns on your returns. That's the part people miss. The growth doesn't just stay the same, it speeds up, and fast. You go from barely inching forward to being pulled ahead by momentum you've quietly built over time. This is where wealth changes shape. It's not just a straight line, it's an exponential curve. At first, it's frustratingly slow. You save, invest, do everything right, and the numbers barely move. Especially if you've spent years just digging yourself out of debt, the progress can feel invisible. But that sluggish start is only temporary. Eventually, you hit a tipping point, the moment when time and consistency start doing most of the heavy lifting for you. Your money begins to generate money on its own. You're no longer the engine pushing the train uphill. You're the conductor guiding it along as it picks up speed. That's why so many millionaires emphasize consistency. They know how close most people get to real success before they give up. If they could just show you what happens after the boring, doubtful phase, they would. The rapid growth, the calm confidence, the peace of mind. All of it comes after you stay the course. The first $100,000 is the hardest. The next comes faster. And once you're beyond that, things get shockingly automatic. With $10,000 invested in the S&P 500, you'll earn about $1,000 per year on average. But with $100,000, that's $10,000 earned. At $500,000, you're making $50,000 annually on average without lifting a finger. And that $500,000, it can grow to $1 million in around 7 years, and $2 million in about 14, without adding a single extra dollar, not adjusting for inflation. That's just the math doing the work, and it's one of those things that sounds good in theory, looks great in charts, and makes sense on paper, but still feels hard to believe until you're actually living it. People imagine wealth as this finish line, a magical day when they'll suddenly feel rich, but that's not how it happens. Wealth sneaks up on you. It starts showing itself the moment you realize a car repair doesn't ruin your month, when you go on vacation without a trace of guilt, when you sleep soundly at night, free from worries about paying rent, experiencing less stress at work, and staying calm and steady with your family. And here's what most people who say, "I want to enjoy my money now," don't realize. You don't have to be a millionaire to feel the benefits of building wealth. They show up long before that. It starts with your first emergency fund, your first dividend payment, the first time you make a choice without financial stress hanging over you. The climb is slow, but so is the relief. Each small step forward with your money brings a noticeable upgrade to your peace of mind and overall quality of life. As your financial situation improves, everyday life starts to feel less tense. You're no longer constantly on edge, and it's easier to stay patient with your partner, your kids, even coworkers. You can handle unexpected costs without going into panic mode or swiping a credit card you're already trying to pay down. Instead of scrambling to make ends meet, you're slowly building a cushion. Your investments are doing their thing quietly in the background, and for the first time, you can say yes to things like a spontaneous dinner or a short trip without second-guessing yourself. Millionaires aren't trying to show off. They just want others to see that peace of mind is possible, that the compound effect of money and time isn't just some abstract theory, it's the most dependable path to real freedom. They've lived the grind. They know what it feels like to panic at the gas pump, to dread the mailbox, to calculate every grocery item in their head. So if it seems like they're shouting this from the mountaintop, it's not because they want to brag. It's because they want to show you the view, and it's a lot closer than you think.